Hey there, Caleb Wojcik from DIY Video Guy here, and I'm in the studio looking at the Vedra Mini Cinema Primes that are available for mirrorless cameras. I first saw these at NAB a couple months ago. I reached out to the company, said I wanted to test out some of the lenses. So I have the 35, I have the 50, and I have the 25 millimeters here. And these work really well on Super 35 cropped mirrorless cameras. So I'm going to be shooting on the A7R II here in the APS-C mode where it's cropped in a little bit. So these become an equivalent of 37.5, 52.5, and somewhere in the 70 millimeter range because they are cropped in. So I will be showing you guys how these things work, what's cool about them, how they're all the same size and the gears are all the same. So if you're going to use matte boxes and things like that, these are some pretty cool lenses for way cheaper than getting the actual bigger cinema lenses like the Altas or any other brand. They offer a handful of different mount options for these. These are E-mount, so they will work on Sony mirrorless cameras like the A7 series, as well as up to the FS7 and FS5 series. But they also offer them for like GH4s and other mirrorless cameras, and I'm sure over time they'll evolve into offering maybe some for Canon or another company. Now, you're not gonna get a bunch of automatic features in these with autofocus and things like that because they're built like cinema lenses. They're meant to be used manually. So you get a 300-degree focus throw, which means you have to rotate the focus ring 300 degrees to go from the closest point to infinity. So you can get really fine-tuned adjustments for focus, which is even more important as you shoot in 4K and beyond, because even if you're out of focus just a little bit, it's noticeable. The other thing to note about the aperture rings on these is that they are fluid as well, so there's not gonna be the click between different apertures like there is on typical photography lenses. So if you're going from a bright environment to a dark environment and you're on the move, you could make a move of the aperture ring and have a smooth transition instead of the clicking between the different apertures. When the aperture is wide open on these, it's a t-stop of 2.2, which is different from f-stop in that t-stop is consistent between these lenses. So if you're at a t 4.5 for one shot and then you change lenses and you want to use 4.5 again, the exposure, the amount of light in the scene and being captured should be exactly the same, whereas f-stop can kind of change depending on your focal length. If you're going to be rigging these up with some gear to be able to smoothly turn the focus ring or the aperture ring with a dial or a handle or some sort of remote control automated thing that you can control it, it is a 0.8 size gear, which is pretty standard. And what's really cool about these is that no matter what focal length you have, so here I have the 25 and the 50 and the 35s right here, you can see they're the exact same size. So if you take one off of your camera and it has the gears on it for focus and aperture, and you put the other one on, it's the exact same size. You don't have to move the gears around on the base plate rods that you have set up. You don't have to change out the matte box because now your lens is a different depth. It's really helpful to change lenses quickly if you have it fully rigged out and not have to be able to, take everything apart. A few more technical parts of these lenses. It's an 80 millimeter diameter around the lens at the end for matte boxes, and then the filter threads are 77 millimeter, and it's like that across all of them. So you really only need one matte box size, you really only need one filter size, because you can change them in between all these lenses. The image quality on these things is really, really great, and the ability to get a smooth focus pull is wonderful as well. So who would I recommend this kind of lens to? These are perfect if you're focused exclusively on video, because if you're doing photo, you're not gonna have autofocus, you're gonna have to move the aperture ring every time you wanna change it, and they can be used for photo, no doubt about that, but if you're in a hurry, you're gonna have to manually focus everything. So if you're video exclusive and you wanna get a more cinematic look, or you're looking to rig out your mirrorless camera, or maybe up into a FS7, FS5, something like that, and you want to have smooth aperture rings, big focus pulls, you're gonna gear it out with different dials and matte boxes and things like that, and you want a set of lenses. This is a really beautiful set, and they are really small too. I mean, look at this. This is the 50 mil here, and really this then gets cropped, but the 50 mil to the 55mm from Sony here, you can see, I mean, this is a small photography lens, and it's a pretty similar size, and this is a cinema style lens with the focus rings. But compare that to the 85mm G Master here from Sony, and you can see the major size difference. And it's just, they're lightweight, but that doesn't mean they're cheap. They're strongly built, and they're pretty durable. So I would definitely look into these lenses if you're looking to get some cinema style lenses and you want to save some money. They're all about $1,000 or less, and I've really liked using them so far. So I highly recommend them. Thank you to Vedra for sending them to me to test them out and to give you guys a little look at them. And I will see you guys in another video. Thanks for watching.